Continuing coverage in Tallahassee as Governor DeSantis once again is calling for the impeachment of Judge Tiffany Baker-Carper. Today, the governor posted on X, quote, "The Florida House has still not lifted a finger to bring accountability to this judge via its constitutional authority to impeach. Why won't they stand up for Missy?" End quote. About an hour later, Governor DeSantis posted again on X saying, quote, "The clock is ticking," end quote. Judge Tiffany Baker-Carper was the circuit judge presiding over the abuse and murder trial of Daniel Spencer. Spencer was convicted in April of 2025 of traveling to meet a minor for sex. Judge Baker-Carper released him on bond to await sentencing. Just weeks later, Spencer was accused of abusing and killing his 5-year-old stepdaughter, Missy. On Monday, Judge Baker-Carper, recused herself from the case.